Welcome to episode 28 of this chess puzzle adventure series starring Bobby Fischerman, Average Joe, and Peter Potzer. Previously, several episodes back, Bobby Fischerman had been challenged by a knight to a game of chess, and upon winning that game, he had received a magical key. The only thing that Bobby knew about the key was that somewhere in the Whispering Woods there was supposed to be a treasure chest that the key would unlock. So he set off in the direction of the Whispering Woods to find that treasure chest. Not long after he had left, he ran into a botanist. The botanist said, "Hello, friend, where are you headed?" Bobby said, "I'm headed into the Whispering Woods to find the treasure chest." The botanist said, "Aha, you must have the magical key." Bobby said, "Yes, I do." The botanist said, "Well, the Whispering Woods is a dangerous place to be if you don't know your way around. But lucky for you, I've been studying the plant life there for many years, and I know it like the back of my hand. I'll be happy to take you to the treasure chest, but first you need to solve this puzzle." Bobby said, "Okay, what's the puzzle?" And with that, the botanist presented him with the following position. Here's the position. It's white to play and win, despite the fact that black has a queen, as well as this pawn, which is pushing down the board, threatening to become a second queen. So if you would like to pause, how do you think white can win this game? What should white play first? If you had a chance to look at that, the move is rook to e8 check. And basically, you don't have time to do anything else. You need to do a check or something that's forcing, because like we talked about, black has the queen, which has a lot of things that it could do, and also this pawn that they can start pushing. You don't have time to wait around. So you need to do a check. The king is going to come up, and if you would like to pause, what do you think the next move is? If you had a chance to look at that, the move is rook to e7 check. And essentially what we're trying to do here is get the king cut off on the back rank with our rook in front of it, but we wanted to do it with checks so that we didn't waste any time. So if you imagine back at the very beginning, if we would have played rook e7 immediately, it's a good move because it's cutting off the king, but it gives black a turn to do something. And for example, queen to g5 is a fork, and already you can see our pieces are starting to fall. So we didn't have time for that. You have to go check, check. And now after king to a8, what do you think white should play next? If you had a chance to look at that, the move is king to c6. And it's a very clever move, essentially trying to take away the squares from the king, but doing it in a specific way. And you have to go to c6 instead of b6 or a6, because if you go to one of these squares, look at this square right here. And black's queen is going to come in. It's a fork, and we are losing our rook. Okay, the same thing would happen if you go to a6. Queen's going to come in, and we're losing our rook. By going to c6, that's not a viable move for black. We would simply take the queen. There's actually no good checks for the black queen. Anywhere that you look, we would simply take the queen. Okay, so that's important. Now, I want to just point out, why did black move to a8? It's actually the better move. You might say, well, couldn't they have gone to b8 or c8? The issue with either of these moves is the same thing. We still play king to c6, same ideas here, and there's really nothing that can stop this threat. Okay, so there's one key move that black has, but they had to play king to a8 first. Okay, so that's why, going back here, they played king to a8. All right, so we played king to c6, and here is kind of the really tricky move from black. They play the move queen to b8. It's a great move, and before I say too much, if you would like to pause, what's our follow-up going to be to this move? If you had a chance to look at that, the move is rook to e8, and we're essentially using the fact that the bishop is defending, we're pinning the rook and going to win the queen, but black has a very clever idea of pushing the pawn and getting another queen. Now, this is why this queen to b8 move is so powerful, okay? And actually, black's idea is not to push the pawn right away, but to capture us and then push the pawn. So let me just back up in case I confuse you there. If black didn't play queen to b8, they could have pushed the pawn immediately. But if they do, we're going to go check, okay? And when they block, and by the way, they have to block. If they try to run, they simply get mated right away with this move. That's a cool pawn checkmate. So they have to block. Then we take it. And because of where our bishop is, we can simply jump back here, stops the pawn, and we're in time. It's a pretty easy win. However, let's compare that to what black did. They played queen to b8 first, and now when we go rook to e8, they don't push the pawn, They capture us with check, luring our bishop away, and now they push the pawn. And notice the difference. We can't go here with our bishop to stop the pawn. Our king is actually blocking the bishop from going here. So, question for you guys, how do we stop the pawn from becoming a queen? What should we play in this position? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, it was kind of a trick question because the answer is we can't stop the pawn and we shouldn't try to stop the pawn. We should go for something else. So the move here is king to c7. And essentially what we were doing is setting up kind of a checkmating net on black's king. All right, so black is going to get the queen. If you would like to pause, what do you think we should play next? You had a chance to look at that. This one is pretty straightforward. Bishop to c6 check. The king only has one option right here. Then we can go bishop to b6 check. King only has one option. And now we have a nice way to finish off the game. See if you can find it. If you had a chance to look at that, the move is b5 check with the pawn. The king is trapped, so they have to sacrifice their queen. And now we can simply take the queen, right? Wrong. We don't take the queen. We go bishop to b7. Checkmate. And look at this checkmate. There's all these pieces are clumped together. The queen is right there. And it can't even do anything to help the king. Actually, it's in the way. If the queen was gone, the king could escape, right? But the queen is in the way. And so that is how you win. Of course, if you were to take the queen, that's a big mistake. And now the game is simply a draw. You can't checkmate with only a bishop. It's not enough. Two bishops is. And so really nice finish with a beautiful checkmate here. And kind of a weird position that I don't think I've seen before. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And congratulations if you found that one. After Bobby had successfully solved the puzzle, the botanist said, "Very good, now follow me and I'll take you to the treasure chest." And with that, they both went off into the Whispering Woods. But Bobby Fischerman couldn't shake the feeling that there was something off about the botanist. He just couldn't put his finger on what exactly it was. And that's where we'll pick up our story next time. Thanks for watching and happy adventures on the chessboard.